These are some of the topics talked about by Elon Musk during the BBC interview, so check them out and enjoy the video.
Have you got any?
It's a great dog.
Other than the dog.
Very alert, and it's hard to get anything by him.
Okay, that's good to know. Other than the dog, have you got any successes in mind?
He's got a black turtleneck.
All right, we're going down that route. Steve Jobs or Elizabeth Holmes? Are you making a reference to?
I guess more Elizabeth Holmes.
Okay. I've forgotten the question now.
He's got a husky voice and a black turtleneck. Problem solved.
What were we talking about there? Who would you want? Have you got a successor in mind?
Not yet. Hopefully at some point.
Right. So, because you did say you were going to stand down.
I did stand down.
Okay. All right, let's move on from that then. All right. What about this office? I'm intrigued about this office. You said it was expensive.
You don't really need a CEO.
Yeah?
Yeah. Why can't we be an anarcho syndicalist commune?
I think Jack Dorsey kind of recommended doing that, and you kind of ignored it.
Yeah, it was kind of that actually.
This office, are you thinking about moving out of San Francisco?
Not yet. But yeah. No, I mean, this place is nice, and we I kind of like this office building actually.
Yeah. Okay, so you're not, because I know you've talked about there's been high levels of crime here. You actually said at one point
we should do something about the crime.
Right. People
are dying.
Right.
We should take action.
You've also talked about how potentially, I think you might have been joking, but you could turn this into a homeless shelter. So I guess the reason I'm asking is, you.
But we're trying to turn it into a homeless shelter in the building management, building owner.
You tried to.
Yeah, they won't let us.
Which bits have you tried to turn into a homeless shelter?
We're only using one of the buildings, and so the other building could be a homeless shelter.
And you've tried to.
Yeah, we would like to do it right now.
Really?
Yes.
And.
No,
you're being stopped by who?
By the building owner.
They won't let you?
No. In fact, they wouldn't even let us take the W off the sign.
So how were you going to do that?
They're really quite
What was your plan for the shelter?
I don't know. We could just let people stay there. It's nice.
Right. Okay. I didn't know that.
They can bring their stuff, bring the tent and whatever.
Right. And it's a roof over their head.
Yeah. If the building owner lets us, we'll do it.
Yeah. So if the building owner lets you, you would happily do that.
Yes.
Okay. All right. There we go. What's the most difficult thing you've had to do? What's the hardest thing you've had to do?
In my whole life?
In the last 6 months. We're talking about the last 6 months as you as Twitter boss here. Twitter owner.
Well, shutting down one of our service centers was quite difficult because it turns out there were. I thought the service centers were redundant, but there were in fact a lot of things that were hard coded to this one service center, and so when we shut it down, we actually it was quite catastrophic. We lost a lot of functionality, which sort of really rushed to put it back.
When was that?
And that was around late December, early January.
So that was the biggest sort of, I'm worried here.
Biggest crisis, yeah.
Yeah. And what about hard in terms of emotional? I mean, just letting go. What were the levels of staff and what are they now?
I think we're around 1,500 people at this point, and there was, I think, 7,800.
What was that? So
I think it was around just under 8,000, and we're about 1,500 right now.
Okay. And has it been hard letting that many people go?
Yeah. It's not fun at all. It's painful.
I mean, I guess in what way do you feel like you need to speak to people when they leave? Or
I mean, it's not physically possible to speak to that many people.
Has that? I mean, you talked about that being the most technical bit. Has that been sort of the hardest thing emotionally, or is it?
It's one of the hardest things, certainly.
Yeah. The Nancy Pelosi tweet. We'll go right back to the start. But there have been, that is an example of a few. There have been others. Do you feel like you're an impulsive person?
I mean, have I shot myself in the foot with tweets multiple times? Yes.
Do you feel like
I need bulletproof shoes at this point?
You've definitely done that. The issue is that you're now a Twitter owner. Do you feel like you should look at your tweets more? You have a higher responsibility when you tweet something out for it to be accurate?
I think I should not tweet after 3 a.m.
That's the rule.
Yeah, well, maybe 2 a.m.
That's the new rule.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, so there's a blanket ban.
I shouldn't.
What are your Twitter rules? I mean, I've heard some people say never tweet when you've been drinking, or never tweet when angry. What are your Twitter rules?
Well, I think those are two good rules. Yeah, don't tweet if you're wasted, or really upset about something. Probably. I mean, a good friend of mine actually had a good suggestion, and it has helped, which is that if you're going to tweet something that maybe is controversial, save it as a draft and look at it the next day and see if you still want to tweet it. And that has been a good rule of thumb.
Okay.
So I've got a bunch of things in my draft folder that I'm glad I didn't send.
I can't remember whether I've asked you this. This is my sort of wrapping up at this point. But yeah, do you have any regrets?
I mean, the one was like hindsight's 20/20, so that a bunch of decisions that could have been made better for sure. But as I said, all's well that ends well. I think it's gone pretty well. So in the grand scheme of things, I can't complain.
Okay. I'm going to just check my list of things to make sure I've actually.
I mean, it's maybe this something that people on the Twitter want to say. Ask, we could ask them.
That's on you. That's on you.
There's 680,000 people listening.
There you go.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
Let's see. How do we see? Okay. Let me see who. I'll just look at my tweet and see what people are saying or what questions they have. Do you like the BBC? Do you like BBC?
Okay, yeah, we're not going to do this.
I can't interview you.
Obviously, I work for the BBC.
So do you like BBC?
I know. I see what you're doing. I'm not going to respond to that. Okay, I think we can finish the interview there. If you want to continue, thank you very much.
Well, come on. Surely you like BBC. Come on.
I'm not engaging. All right, Elon. It honestly has been a pleasure. Talking to you. It really has. And if you want to carry on answering questions on this, then go for it. But I'm not going to.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to see if there's like any good. There's a lot of comments here.
I can imagine.
There's so many. Anyway, so it's nice to be interviewed by the BBC. I have a lot of respect for the British Broadcasting Corporation.
When did you say when the actual label's going to go public?
Oh, is it? Do we still say state media or whatever? Oh, it says government-funded media currently, as opposed to publicly funded media. Well, I guess probably we can make that change tomorrow if you'd like.
It's up to you. It's up to you. But
I mean,
we'll expect that tomorrow.
I mean, do you have any requests on a personal level, or you can't speak on a personal level?
No, I don't.
Okay. Yeah.
I think we've established that.
Go
on, what questions are people asking you? Go on.
I mean, there's like a lot of comments. Let's see. I'm just literally reading looking at replies to the fact that the spaces.
Are there any good questions that I've missed out in the last 6 months? I'm sure there are many.
I mean, people generally seem to like this interview, from what I can tell. Very few negative comments, so generally positive.
Is that that's probably bad for me.
I'm scrolling as fast as I can to sort of see. I guess there's some complaints about Twitter Spaces needing some improvement. Let's fix Twitter Spaces is one of the comments. People like the fact that my dog Floki is the CEO. I'm really just scrolling as fast as I can here.
I guess my reflection on this interview.
I'd just like to say I like BBC.
Okay, you obviously find that very funny.
I do find it funny.
I think, I mean, honestly, listening to the interview, the answer about misinformation and saying, oh, we don't police misinformation in the same way, but because we try and get bots, because we try and take down bots, we'll be effective at bots, there's actually less misinformation on the platform.
I think that's a big factor.
I'd like to ask you one more question on that, because
Sure.
that is quite a lot of people, I think, will be listening to this.